Uh-oh. Monday, February the
Monday.
8th.
Yes, sir.
Shouts out to Team No Sleep. We in the building.
Yes,
Brother,
sir.
Brother Martel, how you
Absolutely.
living, man?
Man, I'm great, man. I'm great. How about yourself?
Oh, we trying to keep it moving, right? One foot forward and trying not to trip over ourselves. But
A- Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Keep
man,
keep the discussions going. Keep everything. Keep everybody alive. What's going on? So
yeah. We got a lot of traction with. I'm just gonna go and put it out there. We got a lot of traction with the last show, and
yeah,
especially the marketing promo that I put out there with some of your commentary. So that means we're resonating. That means we're
yeah,
talking about the social impact of sport, not just talking about the game, not just talking about the scores, but we definitely gonna touch on that today.
yeah.
But
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely,
but
absolutely.
I think that means we are doing our work and we're doing the due diligence and it's resonating. So we definitely gonna keep that up. We appreciate folks that tune in and join us. Uh, what happened over this weekend, brother? Anything happened in the
You,
sports world over this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, the Super Bowl. Super Bowl is. I'll be the first person to tell you, everybody. I took Kansas City. I thought
Say it
Kansas
again.
City.
Hold on. Say it
I
again.
took. I
I'm
took.
gonna put you on the big screen.
I took Kansas City to take the dub. And obviously, Brady, you know, did his thing and they won the game. But I mean, I got to give credit more so to not only Brady but the Tampa Bay staff, man. I mean, Byron Leftwich, Frazier, and those guys. They just. I mean, I'm sorry, Bowles, Coach Bowles. They just did a tremendous job, man, on diffusing that juggernaut of Kansas City. They did a great job, man. I think it I think people don't understand it unless you play football, especially with the higher, the more level you play, how
Yeah,
much scheme comes into play. And they not only outplayed them, but they out schemed Kansas City and they outcoached them
yeah,
for the biggest game, and that made Brady shine. That obviously made Brady shine. But they saw some things, I guess, when they were doing their evaluation that made them feel very, very confident in what they did. And then also in Kansas City, it didn't help that they didn't play very well. Dropping balls that they normally catch. Not being able to block as well as they had been able before, not to be able to do the things they were supposed to do, missing field goals, botched punts. All that stuff starts to add up, man. This is a landfall for disaster. I still stand by my word. I think Brady not only is the GOAT, man, he's probably the best football player ever to lace up some shoes.
Well,
As far as on that
he's
level.
got seven of them.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
got a
yeah,
ring for each day of the week now, so
yeah, yeah,
he's doing all right, and
yeah,
he surpasses all franchises with that.
yeah.
Right, no other franchise has that number, and he as an individual has that. So that can't be overlooked, and that's got to be
Yeah, yeah,
respected. But
yeah.
let's go back. Hold on.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
wanted to gloat a little bit about the call because we went back and forth and everybody thought maybe I'd go with the with the odds
Uh
and
huh.
go with Kansas City, but right out
Yeah.
of the gate, your boy had I went with the old man.
No, and like I said, man, I think there's something to be said for Bowles, man. The defense he put against Mahomes, man. I mean, he went three and out, punt,
Yeah,
three and out, three and out. I mean, that hasn't been done to that team, period, at all. I think that 2 weeks of preparation for them to have against that offense did something. And I really don't think it didn't look like Kansas City took them serious enough to kind of find out where the holes and stuff were at. At least it didn't look like from a scheme standpoint. Maybe just
yeah,
something was off. But I mean, it really, you could definitely tell what team prepared
yeah,
for the other team big time and try to diffuse what's going on. And they did that. I
yeah.
mean, I can't take the Tampa Bay did that. Coach Bowles, he got a new fan in me as far as defensive scheme is concerned. And and then like I said, I think Mahomes, for the young fella, I think there's a lot of pressure on him, and I think we haven't taken comment of that. He had the pressure trying to do this, and it didn't live up to the expectation.
True, true. Yeah, I think Kansas City started not just started out slow, but they looked a little off. Maybe
Hmm.
I don't want to say it was too big for them because they were the defending champs,
Hmm.
right?
Yep.
But again, last season they didn't play number 12, right? So just a whole different mindset and a whole different pressure that comes with playing with that gentleman on the other
Yeah.
side. And then again, you got to give credit where credit is due, right? On the defensive side, Coach Bowles was just they shut down Tyreek Hill.
Yeah. Shut down.
He had less than 50 yards, I think, total, and they were forcing Mahomes to just dunk the ball off to somewhere short to
Kelsey was
to
the big
Kelsey,
target.
right?
Yep. Hmm.
That was all they had,
Yeah.
and he was hurried a lot of times. And then on the offensive side, right? Yeah, Coach Leftwich, he
Yeah,
said,
yeah,
Tom, just do what you got to do. We're not going to do a whole bunch of different things that aren't in your, your
yeah.
comfort zone. And
Yep.
next thing you know, he connects with Gronkowski again 2 times, right?
Two times.
They,
Yeah, yeah.
they do this. They know
Yeah,
these
yeah,
things.
yeah. I think that part. I also believe that you got to give Tampa Bay a lot of credit because even when Kansas City's defense did step up and stop them on the 4th and goal
Yeah,
on the 1 yard line,
yeah,
they
that was nice.
didn't get rattled. The Tampa Bay still stayed focused, and
True.
that's Tom Brady. That's
Yeah,
veterans. Young guys would get rattled in that situation. Tom Brady didn't get rattled. He's like,
yeah.
okay, I'm gonna get us back down there again, and we're gonna score again. I mean, I applaud Tom Brady's his patience and his grit more than anything because you got to think you're always indicative of your leader. I don't care
True.
who you are. When you're a team, you're indicative of your leader, and he's the leader. His demeanor controlled that game. If you saw his demeanor, he was very calm.
For the most
He was
part,
very quiet. Yeah,
for the most part, he
he,
got into a
he was
couple of
competitive.
little
That
matches. You know,
that's just
he
competitive.
was
That's
screaming.
competitive spirit. No, that's just arguing back and forth. But
Yeah,
I mean, his demeanor as far as execution and doing things he
yeah,
was doing,
definitely.
very calm and very in control. And if you looked on the other hand, Mahomes, the young guy who's supposed to be the leader, very rattled,
Yeah,
very hurried, very frustrated on the sideline. You
yeah,
could just tell that if you looked at them both when they showed those sideline captions of both, Mahomes rattled, sitting on the sideline, hands in his lap,
yeah.
shaking his leg is shaking. He's anxious to get back in. You saw Tom Brady, he's just sitting there calm, looking at everything with a grit look on his face, looking like, well, let me know when I'm up next.
Yeah, the same way he's looked every single season ever since he's been in the league, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
somebody else
So
scores, all right. When it's my
yeah,
turn, I'm gonna get out there and do my thing. So I mean that was a game definitely. It didn't turn out the way fans wanted it to. I
no, I
think
want to be
from
close.
from
Yeah.
the hype perspective, right? 31 to
Mhm.
9. That was it. And it wasn't necessarily the officiating. Yeah, there were a couple of ticky tack kind of touch fouls that were called, but you know
Yeah.
what? Overall, it really was just the mentality, the mindset. It was the game in and of itself, and the game inside of the game. Uh,
Mhm.
who else got the score? So first, Coach Arians got his first
Yep.
trophy. So I mean, again, I love the story of that. And Coach Reed got his last year, but Coach Arians got his.
Mhm.
Really happy for that. That just makes sense. And then just the fact of the diverse team that he's got around him from a coaching staff, right? He's got, the black OC and the black DC, just those
Yeah.
aspects. I mean,
Women assistant coaches, 2 women assistant coaches on staff.
exactly, right?
Yeah, yeah,
That's just a recipe for success right there outside of the game. So that just goes to show that when you put
that's
people based on their skill set in place,
mhm.
as opposed to always worrying about, am I picking my friend, am I picking the owner's friend, or whatever the case. If I'm picking the folks that got the right skill set,
I, I
we can do some big things.
I think that's a great and that's good. That's a great segue, kind of where we're going to lead this conversation. But I do believe that diversity dynamic was absolutely perfect timing for the NFL for the perfect win,
Yeah,
perfect setup, a perfect recipe for success.
yeah,
Obviously, the diversity mechanism. Now, with that being said, I wish the ownerships and the hierarchies of the NFL will hopefully take that same platform when it comes to different things. And I mean, comes to um, the way you want to ostracize athletes.
hmm,
And I'm gonna speak candidly. The Seattle gentleman that got in trouble with the domestic
right,
violence
right, right.
has nowhere near been on cameras or been in front of the media as much as they had Ray Rice.
True.
No, not even close. They've been actually seems almost like a cover up. They've been wanting to tone it down to make sure that it doesn't happen. Again, the NFL again, they're not highlighting that they didn't hire a lot of African Americans at higher positions, and not only at coachings but also at GMs and front office positions as well. It's funny. You love to have us playing for you, but you don't want us to have us in positions of leadership, and that means also quarterback. They're just starting now to accept us being the face of the franchise of certain franchises,
Hmm, hmm.
but they don't want us to be too much. They don't want that too much. They don't want us to be coaches. They don't want us to be GMs. There's very far and few of those numbers that are there, and it's kind of sad where Eris has built this dynamic organization, which Bowles and Leftwich are going to be head coaches in the league
Oh yeah, oh
hopefully
yeah,
someday.
oh yeah.
They're that good. They've done so much well. They're going to be that way. But the leader is really reluctant to hand over that baton and let those guys kind of do their dynamics and do their thing. And I'm not talking about giving them a horrible team and they have to, turn something really bad into good. I want to know when they're gonna be able to take over these organizations that are already good, like Andy Reid took over Kansas City, that was in
Hmm.
the middle of the pack, that was doing good. When they're gonna be able to have the opportunity to take over the Raiders when they had a good season, instead of hiring Gruden, hire somebody else to kind of take over and go. And another thing, let's get back to also. I think it's a travesty that Tom Flores is just getting into the Hall of Fame. This guy was the first Latino. He was the first
I
Latino
might as well
quarterback.
I might as well throw my agenda out the window because I was going
Yeah, man,
I, I was
that's
going to talk about that later.
that's got to
But
be
you,
one of the worst things I've ever heard of a selection committee. This guy was the first Latino quarterback in the NFL, first Latino assistant coach, first head coach as a Latino, and he was the first Latino coach to win a Super Bowl. Like, what other groundbreaking things does he has to do in order for them to recognize that he should be he should be a monarch in the Hall of Fame, not just be accepted. He should be a guy that's be a poster child, especially for the Latino community.
that's true. That's true. And before you continue, again, I think it's your networking that's having an issue because you are frozen in a particular stance. But we hear you, so keep on
Oh, okay.
talking,
Yeah,
and it's all right.
okay.
But you're right. You know, Coach Flores finally at least getting into the hall. Glad that it happened. I don't know if it had to finally do with what was it, some beer commercials that he was on, and they were asking the exact same question, right? You know, Coach
Yeah,
Flores, how come he's not in the hall yet? Now you're back on video.
yeah,
That's cool.
yeah.
So it was a great class that he went in with. So he went in with, you knew Peyton was going to get in his first time, but yeah, Coach Flores, just everything that he did in Oakland, just the fact that, again, who he was
Hmm.
and what he did for them. Yeah, why did it take so long? That's a question that the NFL has to answer. Back to some of the things that we were talking and you were talking about the NFL's addressing racism and racism issue. You know, I was looking over highlights and lowlights, based
Hmm.
on, social media and kind of some of the interaction that folks have had since yesterday. And one of those lowlights was the NFL's anti-racism public service announcement was a
Yeah.
lowlight, right? Mainly for the fact that it missed the mark in the fact that it didn't mention Colin.
Yep.
Right. They had again another opportunity, another phenomenal year. So things started off in a nice way. I'm gonna say it really started off. You got Alicia Keys up there doing her
Yeah.
thing. You got her up there performing. You got Jasmine Sullivan performing. You got what's her name? Amanda Gorman
Hmm.
reading another poem. So I mean, you got it going right with a lot of diversity and a lot of good conversation, and it looks like it's going in the right way. But then you come out with that public service announcement, and you miss the one thing that's completely blaring about how the NFL handles and addresses race relations within
Yeah.
the league.
Yeah. Well,
That something could have been said about that. We almost knew that they weren't going to say anything about the gentleman from the Seahawks, right? Because
yeah.
again, it's now too late,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
There
Yeah.
is a point in time where it's almost too late to actually make a statement and make a mark, and for that one, that still needs to happen. But it's too late for that. But it's not too late to go ahead and talk about the impact that Colin Kaepernick had.
But it goes back to kind of the old cliche. We good enough to entertain you, but we're not good enough to have that voice or voice of reason. Like you said, they laid it all up to that, and basically, it almost like it wasn't a slap in the face, but it was almost like, hey, we're gonna lead off to this, and we're gonna throw them some money, and then we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on because they said, oh, we're gonna donate. I forgot the amount. I don't know if it was $250 million, $25 million
Yeah,
to the cause of in systematic racism. But then again, we have these issues and stuff that, like you said, you failed to address. Why not address Colin Kaepernick? Why wasn't he a guest of honor to flip the coin? Why wasn't he able to do some certain things like that to say, you know what, let's mend where we know where we did wrong, and now we continue on. You can never move. I don't believe you can ever move forward with something unless you mend what already happened to move forward with. They haven't mend that. They haven't mend that relationship yet, and I think there's still um, a lot of good old boy networking in the NFL. I think, and that's a lot of places, especially within the professional coaching range.
you're right.
It's a lot of good old. It's not sometimes based on merit. It's based on the good old boy networking, and I think that's good to a certain point because everybody does it. Let's not be naive. People do it, but when it starts to detriment and it's not a representation of your workforce, then I think there starts to become a problem with it. Especially when we're calling for it, and guys are deserving of those roles and those positions.
Yeah.
It's not like when you're like, hey, I'm hiring my cousin. he's never worked here before. He's fresh out of high school. He's 19 years
Yeah,
old. Yeah, he used to
I
be a
know a
GM.
guy. I know a
Yeah,
guy
yeah,
who
yeah,
can come
yeah.
and do this.
Yeah, yeah.
My
We're talking.
barber can come do
Yeah,
it. Wait a
yeah.
minute now.
We're talking about guys that they have a very impressive resume
Yeah,
that deserve those opportunities, and for some reason they keep getting shunned out, and they're putting guys ahead of them that don't have such a impressive resume in front of them. So I believe that I'm hoping that the Players Association and the NFL kind of has these open dialogue conversation. I know one's the owner and one writes the paychecks, and that's always a difficult conversation.
true,
But remember,
true.
they can't write a paycheck unless we're out there entertaining. So
That's true. But without the talent out there providing the what's bringing in the crowd,
yeah,
it's going to be hard to keep
yeah,
those revenues and that money coming in. Speaking of next season, and so right now,
hmm
right, all those conversations are probably need to be happening, and I believe that they are going to happen.
hmm
Uh, Next season, we already got the draft order coming out, so we
yeah,
know Jacksonville's going to get first pick. The Jets going to come second.
hmm
The Texans traded to Miami for the third, then the Falcons, and then the Bengals. So those are the top 5 picks.
hmm
They could use some shakeups on the field. They could use some shakeups in the
hmm
front office as well. Not sure if any of it's going to happen, but those are the teams that top 5 in terms of the draft order for next season. What are your thoughts about those 5 in terms of, again, player personnel, coaching
Um,
staff, and for
well,
next season?
all of them got new coaching staff, so that's mute now. The changing the guards won't happen no more until a couple of years from now. I think personnel wise, I believe Jacksonville should draft Trevor Lawrence. I mean, if we're gonna go with a quarterback that has a good pedigree and knows how to win, I think it's him. And you build around him. And Urban Meyer really knows how to develop talent. He's done it everywhere he's went, and he's been successful. I don't know. I think it's going to be a lot different in the NFL. Before in college, you get to go select and pick and really find a kid and you offer him and you develop a young man and they listen. Remember, 17 to 22-year-olds will really listen. Now you're using a level where he's going dealing with these grown men where they don't
Making
listen
millions
as
of
much.
dollars.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they don't listen as much. They don't. There's a lot of egos and a lot of testosterone in the locker room. So I think he's gonna win them over, but I think it's gonna be a slower process than it has happened for him than in the college realm. It's gonna take
Mhm.
a little bit longer. After that, man, to be honest with you, I don't know where everyone's going to land because I think everyone's willing to trade to get more picks or find some veterans within those 5 teams.
I
I
agree
think
with that.
everybody, I
Yeah.
think everybody's willing to move and shuffle around if the right offer comes along. Obviously we got my man over in the Texans that's trying to get out. I think if someone needs a quarterback like Jacksonville, I wouldn't be apprehensive for trading my number 1 pick and swapping with Jacksonville in order to
Mhm.
get him over there. And that way I don't have to deal with Trevor Lawrence. But I mean, I think those are going to be all kinds of moves that are going to start now. The Super Bowl's over. Now we'll see what GMs are really willing to make those moves in
Yeah.
order
Yeah.
to move around.
Yeah. Let's talk about some lighter notes of yesterday, right?
Yeah,
I want to get your perspective on some other things. So again, I said highlights and lowlights.
yeah,
Highlight for me being military family was literally the flyover from the Air Force.
hmm
So actually, I did some research on that. So the fact that it was a B-52, it was a B-2 stealth, and a B-1 bomber that flew over.
hmm
There was symbolism in that, a 52, a 2, and a 1. So they added up to 55 for the
hmm
Super Bowl. It's kind of cool.
Okay. Yeah.
The B-2 stealth, the one in the middle, was actually flown by one of 10 female stealth pilots.
Mm.
Not sure if everyone knew that.
No, I
So
didn't know that. That's cool. Now
so
that is
so
cool.
yeah, man. So shouts out to women out there doing big things.
Yeah, yeah,
Not just Ref Sarah out there doing the line judging, but actually had a stealth pilot out there
yeah,
flying over.
yeah. I mean,
So that's big stuff. I
I think it's
really like that. Those are the things. So I'll let you say. Those are the
yeah.
things before the game that I get into. So the only thing that happened this year, before the game was the Alex Smith story. So I mean, normally you see a lot of stories leading up to the game talking
Yeah,
about
yeah.
all the players and their struggles and those types of things. That was the only thing that made me cry this year was the Alex Smith story, right? And I've seen it and heard it ever since. I saw when it happened. I knew the whole likeness to the Theismann injury and all that, but
Yeah.
there wasn't a lot of that. It was just Alex Smith, and I got tired of hearing about Brady and Mahomes, to be honest with you. But the Air Force flyover was pretty cool. That was pretty cool.
I think, man. I think all those little small sub stories are great. I think, like you said, her flying the airplane over. I believe the referee Sarah. I believe the coaching staffs on
Yeah,
Tampa Bay, the two women on the coaching staff. I think that's just a mark for you know we are becoming a multicultural, multi-gender
yeah,
force everywhere. Where everyone's going. I think that's beautiful because that includes all the inclusion that we need. Right.
yeah.
Everybody's included now. Everybody, as long as you qualify, you should be able to do the job and go ahead and participate. I think that's a great thing. I think the Alex Smith story. Shout out to Helix High School, where he graduated from high school, went to Utah and did his thing.
Hmm.
Um, that story right there will probably always resonate with me because I mean I saw a story a long time ago on ESPN. Plug. Sorry about that, but I saw a story a
We'll get
long
some
time.
revenue from them
Yeah, yeah,
soon
yeah,
enough.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
all
yeah.
right. CBS Sports, ESPN, Fox. Don't. We're not hating. We're not.
So so I saw a story before, and I was man. I mean, when I saw a story before on that E60 thing, I was like blown
Yeah,
away. Like I didn't realize how horrific his injury was
yeah,
until that story. I was like, wow, like he lost his leg, he lost blood. I mean, they basically, I mean, he's the bionic man, man. They built it back
yeah.
up and he was able not only to just be able to walk again, but now to be able to compete. And let's be honest, he won the starting job a
That's
couple of
true.
weeks and playing.
That's true.
So, I mean, I think Alex Smith is going to be a great coach in the NFL because
Yeah,
he's been through it all. He's had downs, success, failures, wins, come back from injury, was injured. He knows how to deal with every aspect it is in playing in the NFL and playing that profession at that high level and everything that comes with it. So I hope he falls into the coaching realm at some point. I think he's going to be an excellent coach. I think he's going to be able to continue success like he has been on the field.
yeah. Bro, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna send you some money through Cash App or Venmo, and we gonna upgrade your networking plan because the little cable modem or the little
Oh,
AOL
am I
that
still
you rock,
freezing, man? I'm
yeah,
still
yeah, the little dial up that you rock it right now. That's we just can't have that.
man. I'm on my cable game, man. I don't know
I
what's going
know, no, man. Team no sleep cannot be fluctuating like this. So I had to put you in the small window right
Oh
now.
man, I'm my
Yeah,
bad,
so
my
you
bad,
you
y'all.
you've been demoted to co-host.
What,
This was a collaboration, but now you've definitely been demoted to
what's
co-host.
funny
So
on my screen? I see myself moving. I don't know why I'm freezing. On mine,
I
I'm good.
know, but let me tell you something. The rest of the world right
Yeah,
now
yeah, yeah,
just
yeah.
sees your forehead and your mouth open. It's terrible.
You see my forehead and my mouth open, so you see me waving right now, right?
No, I don't see any of that, brother. Don't see any
Where
of
you see
that.
me? Where do you see me at on the camera? Hold on, where?
See, now we
Now,
fluctuate and deviate.
now we black. Now I'm black, right? I'm fading
Well,
to black right
you're
now.
always black. You gonna be that. All you got to do is stay black and pay your
Oh,
taxes. Those are the
you
only two
killing me.
that I forgot. That was an old joke. I don't know who said it, but okay. But you still hear an audio. So let me let you get your cable modem AOL connection fixed up so we can continue talking. The highlights, as we said, were mainly the pre-show stuff. Low lights, man, there was a handful of those. And talk to me about your boy that did the halftime show. Talk to me about the Weeknd. Oh, he gone now. So Montel don't even want to talk to me. I bring up the Weeknd because I know he's a fan of the Weeknd, and I'm just not down with that. So hold on, let me see. He didn't. I'm here by myself. That's all right, folks. If you guys want to join, yeah, you know what I'm saying, Mary, appreciate you. Now you see, we know when you're not like this. This is normally a very efficient, a very professional show, and this week he's broadcasting from somewhere new with a toe up internet connection. So I don't know what to say about these folks, but anybody want to come on stage with me? I will actually allow you to come on since this man can't get his stuff going.
Man, you killing me now.
Oh, there you go. See, there you go. Got some audio. See, okay, I'm over here doing the tap dance.
No,
Now,
man. Let's go back to what you just said. The Weeknd, I thought their performance was horrible. I thought
you,
it was horrible.
you didn't like your boy when you didn't like the with his black and white patent leathers
That's not my boy. I think he
and
was. That was a broke rendition of Bruno Mars time. He didn't bring no guest out, man. He was dry, walking through the lights and the it was a I think
Man, that was terrible.
if they paid for that performance, I don't know how much the NFL paid for if they paid anything, but that's not
So
what you expected a halftime performance.
so check this.
What's
Yeah,
that?
the NFL pays you to do this. They have a fund for it.
Hmm.
But old boy gave or paid $7 million of his own money for that.
He paid 7 million of his own to do that.
7 million of his own money for that performance. And I swear, me and my son were sitting around. We were looking and said, "Man, that's about $250 right there, right?"
Yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah, yeah. I
he
was.
did nothing. You can't be up there singing slow songs during the Super Bowl. No, everybody's supposed to be hyped. There's not a lot of folks in the stands, and just he's not the one. He's just
No.
not the one.
I,
The singles that he's got are okay for pop radio, pop music, but man, when you got the biggest stage and you walking around in a carnival fun house like you lost,
yeah, yeah, man.
and you're doing a fake Michael Jackson Thriller.
But see, I would have been cool if he would have tried to rendition Thriller or sung some Thriller songs and brought the monsters or something. Come up with some type of you're supposed to be the biggest stage of
Yeah,
entertainment for you to showcase your thing. I didn't J Lo's performance. Oh, okay, but you know what? She brought Shakira out there to make sure the
yeah,
whole Latino thing came together.
yeah.
Um, Prince came on, did his thing. Prince even brought Big Boy out from Outkast
Hey,
to do his thing.
yeah,
This
Prince,
dude, this
he brought
dude,
nobody.
nobody. He just was there singing his couple of songs with his whack hair. Why didn't Brother Coleman's hair, man, to cut that on off before he
Man,
come on there?
look, look, and he had his little dances, walked
Yeah,
around, and social media was killing him because they said,
yeah,
"Oh my God, everyone got these jock straps on their
yeah.
face."
He wearing underwear on your
So,
face, man. Come on, bro. Like, come
so
on.
it was not a good look, and I don't know, I don't think he definitely didn't make money from it since he paid 7 million of his own cash from it, but.
Well, actually, I don't know because they said he got
Well, the deal that he
other
got,
streams.
the Pepsi stuff. So the
No, no.
Pepsi commercials, I think he's going to make some
But
money
I heard
off of that.
his streams doubled. His streams doubled. Whatever that means on from a financial standpoint, his streams doubled from that Super Bowl performance. So I guess if you are a Weekend fan, I guess that's what you wanted. Um, I guess he captured the audience he wanted to. For me, I'm not the one.
Man, look,
Bring the Isley Brothers. If you're gonna sing slow jams, bring the Isley Brothers or
you know what I'm
somebody out
saying?
there to entertain us, man. Not the Weekend. Shoot.
Not the Weekend. He was up there singing slow songs. I said, come on, let me go get something to eat because this isn't what I came to see. I thought, man, bring Jay-Z or bring somebody out there
Bring somebody out, man, to get some
with energy.
performance. Yeah, to give some life, man. To do it was just a
I,
dry performance, man. I think the NFL needs to reevaluate who they're gonna have on there for next year. I have no. I mean, I have no.
yeah.
I'll tell you this: Alicia Keys, Jasmine Sullivan's, and the Hers performance was better than his.
Yes. Oh, definitely. Come on, definitely. So,
All
and don't sleep on your boy Eric Church too. When he started playing the guitar,
yeah, yeah,
man,
yeah,
that sounded
yeah.
the country dude.
Yeah, the country did the
Yeah,
remix. That was a cool of R&B and country, man. That was a cool
yeah.
That was a cool. I would love to see them two perform. They little thing on halftime before I would have seen him. I mean, he just
Yeah.
didn't do a good. I don't think he just did. He didn't do a good job, man. And I don't know what they were anticipating or expecting, but it wasn't a good halftime performance at all.
No, so I mean, that's actually a big deal, right? So really, the NFL is going to have to come back next year and really double down. It's going to have to be just a conglomerate, just a ton of folks out there to make up for that. Because again, that's the biggest stage. You're trying to hype up the whole country, and I always think back to Jasmine Sullivan kind of mimicked her rendition of the national anthem to what Whitney did.
Mhm.
Right during the Gulf War, and that's the kind of audience and that's the kind of reaction and the emotion that you should be getting when you do the national anthem and when you do the halftime show. That was a huge letdown for all of us going through 2020, going through
Yeah,
45, going through
man.
COVID. I mean, all of
I,
that. We needed to have something at
I
that level.
I thought with the choir or the looks of a choir, I
Yeah.
thought they was gonna go to church on us. Get us. Shit, we was all gonna be clapping and doing something. I mean, but he got them in robot eyes and
Man,
pop
come
locking in the
on.
background or what. I just think whatever he was trying to do, maybe his fans understood it. I'm not a big Weekend fan, so I just don't know. But it wasn't to me. It wasn't entertaining at all.
No, it wasn't that good. And so along those low lights, unfortunately, even this year's commercials were kind of drab,
Yeah.
right? There was nothing good. A lot of companies actually pulled out and said they weren't going to do Super Bowl commercials, and they were either going to funnel that money back into the business and into healthcare workers, or
Hmm.
into PPE and things like that. But the commercials, 8 out of 10 of them were head scratches for me. I mean, my wife was
Yeah.
looking at me like, what in the world are we watching? And she says, I'm not here to watch. My wife was like, I'm not here to watch the game. I'm here for the commercials. And she was like, look, some of these are just weak.
Yeah. There was that. I mean, look, you got to look at it from two standpoints. If you're a business, do you throw all that money into this? Where we're in the COVID crisis and all that. So do I need to throw that big budget out there for commercials? And also, did the NFL really do a good job trying to go get these people to really put together those big time commercials? I think there was only one that I saw that I thought was pretty good. It had a bunch of actors in it. I forgot what it was for, but it was one that was pretty good. But the rest of them, I was like, yo, it's just like it was a regular commercial. It was like, hey, I got watching a regular game. Wasn't nothing, no big
Yeah, you,
bonanza,
you,
nothing
you
like
had
that.
you had your boy streaking across the field. That was a little bit of excitement. That kind of
I wish
changed
it
the
would have
dynamic.
the beat down that he got probably would have been better than the game.
I saw that too, and yeah, when he got blindsided by
Yeah,
security, that
yeah.
was nice too. But so let's get focused here, man. I mean, so the game again, 31-9. The Tampa Bay came through, did their thing.
Yep.
Brady is on top of the mountain. So shouts out to him and the legacy that he has. He says he's coming back.
Yep.
Arians is obviously coming back. He's not through.
Gronk said he's coming back. Gronk's coming back. He said that today as
Yeah,
well.
he said he's coming back. So it's going to be a core coming back. The front line for Kansas City will be back. They weren't playing because most of them were either hurt or
Hmm.
one of the I think the guard or the tackle
Tackle.
is
That first tackle is first
a doctor, right?
tackle.
Doctor in Canada. So he opted out this season. So
And one was
respect for
hurt.
him on
And
that.
one was hurt for the game.
Yeah,
One was hurt. So they
yeah,
lost
so
two
so so
tackles.
they'll be back right
Yeah,
to
yeah.
100% next season, and I think that they'll compete much better, and they'll live with that, and they'll be hungry again. Let's talk about some other sports. What are you seeing happening from? Because all we got right now, besides that, is we got a little NBA action.
Well, got the All-Star game. The announcement they talking about they're gonna have the All-Star game, even though players are saying
Yeah,
they're not sure if
well,
they want to participate in that.
you said they announced it, but what are your thoughts about that? Do you think anyone's actually going to show up? And
I see. Okay,
it's
this I'm looking at the NBA. Let me kind of my platform in the NBA. So
go ahead.
I'm not understanding like, and we can go to concerts and they sit us in those pod areas in concerts.
Yeah,
Outdoor. I know it's outdoors, but I'm the outdoors where they sit you like in a seated group of six, but they space you out where you can watch, enjoy the concert. I'm not sure why the NBA can't do that with inside their buildings. Like, put enough fans in there, space this out, and then fill it in like the NFL did with fillers with people that look like people and making the noise and all that stuff to kind of have more of a crowd. I think that would be more enticing for them to want to participate and play. I'll be perfectly honest with you, the NBA right now is really dry. I have a hard time really watching the game and being really into the game when there's no crowd. Even college basketball, same thing, no crowd,
no, you're
because
right.
that's part of the game. You want to see the fans and the crowd and the people going crazy and
Hmm.
all that stuff. So I believe in the NBA players should have the option either to play or opt out if they don't want to participate in it. And I honestly believe it. I don't even think they should have it this year. I think everything they should just chalk it up to COVID and say, you know what, we're not going to risk it this year. We're not going to be able to get the fans what they really want this year because the dynamic is completely different. So let's just get playing for the following year and let's just concentrate on this shortened season as the NBA and let's
Yeah.
make our push towards the playoffs.
Yeah, well, NBA isn't as diligent this year as they were last year with COVID
Hmm.
protocol, right? We're,
Yeah.
we're seeing more and more games being postponed, canceled, or
Mhm.
whatever the case, because multiple players on multiple teams are being exposed, or whatever the case. So they did it right the last season, but
Yeah.
this year it seems to be lax, and more players are going to the club or doing whatever they do, right? They got tired of all that lockdown,
Yeah.
so they let their guard down, and it's not looking as good for them. I agree with you that probably the All-Star game is not the best thing to do.
No,
just again, because I don't see from a ratings perspective,
yeah,
so TV and money and all that. I don't think folks will really
and
tune
you got
in.
to also think, we're going into Summer Olympics are coming there, so they got those
Yeah,
guys that's going to the Olympics. So we'll get our taste of our All Star
exactly.
teams there. I think the NBA should really concentrate on the shortened season and getting those guys ready to push for the playoffs because everybody wants to see the playoffs more
Yeah.
so than the regular season anyway. Let's make that push towards there and then kind of go and then restart. I know the NBA. I'll assume the commissioner said money wise they're not as good as they thought they would be because there's no fans and it hasn't been able to reopen up just yet.
Mhm.
So that's even why they're considering possible expansion in the next couple of years. They may have 2 new franchises to make up the money they lost from here. But I have a problem with billionaires is making more billions, man. It's all relative at one point. Um, I just believe that they should concentrate on giving us quality instead of quantity at this
Yeah,
point.
I agree.
Give us
I
some
agree.
quality. Give us some quality play, quality NBA play. Let's push towards the playoffs. Let's get those rivalries back jumping off. Have this season, and then we get back. Then things I think with the vaccine coming, everything can start to kind of get back to normal, and then we have sports like we're used to having it.
Along those lines, let me ask you from your perspective, because you're pretty tied into the high school
Mm-hmm.
level, right? Well, the whole "Let Them Play" initiative. What are you seeing right now from the schools and the athletes that you engage with, and with the whole "Let Them Play" updates, and just are they getting out there and practicing, or
No,
have things been scrapped completely?
private school. So I could look at it from a football standpoint. I'm not quite sure other sports, but from the football standpoint, private schools have been able to practice limited under protocol. And I mean, when I mean by practice, they don't have gear on. They just been able to do drills and stuff like that and work out in a spacious environment. Public schools not because a lot of public schools are not open. So the let me play movement is really divisive down the middle. I mean, and even myself, I find myself going back and forth. You know, do I want seniors and those guys to have an opportunity to play and feel like have some kind of normalcy their last senior year or their last year in high school or the rest of this year in high school? Absolutely yes. But do you want to do it at the risk that they can have someone that's asymptomatic catch it from them? Because I agree with the data. They don't pass it as much. They really don't. They most of the kids that are athletes are asymptomatic. They don't even recognize they have the symptoms. They can fight through it because of their immune system. But as we definitely get to environments that are more urban, and what I mean, more definitely financially divisive. Lower income. Most
Hmm.
people live with generations, and if they live with generations, that means grandma, uncles, aunts, cousins. Sometimes they live with each other or live very near each other, and they're very close niche. Me being an athlete, I might play and I can come home. I can affect my grandmother, and I don't
Right.
think, or somebody else that can have symptoms or be very be very be very subjected to the virus. I believe that it's not worth it. Me personally, it's not worth it. Right now, we're going in February. If we were to have a let them play, they would start March 1st. You have to have at least for football. I know for sure you got to have at least 2 weeks training. That means the first, and then you have usually one preseason game. That means the first game won't happen till the mid of March. What are you going to play 5 or 6 games until
Wow.
April,
Yeah.
and then you graduate in May, June. A lot of people graduate in May and June. So the guys that have signed letters of intent are going to go to play in college. They report usually early July, late June, because they got to get ready for the season for college football. So then you mean to tell me you're going to have a kid play a 6 game season where a lot of kids are not in shape? That means the coaching is going to be fast. That means it's not going to be as well as it normally is. It's going to be rushed,
Mhm.
and anything get rushed, you're going to be subjected to injury. So, do you let the class of 2020 now you live and run into the dynamic? Do you let the class of 2021 play? Do you even let them play at all, or
Right.
do you let some of them play, or how would you work that? And then, um, I'm all for coaches playing, but what about the kids that aren't playing or aren't athletes? What about them going back to school? Where's their
Yeah.
normalcy in life? Why is it just athletes to get a chance to let me play and let me get back to
Yeah.
doing my
Exact.
normal
Good
thing?
point.
And
Good point.
where's the students? Why come I can't get back to doing normal things like that? So man, it's a divide. It's a really division within there, and I toggle both sides. I have a son that's a senior. He's an athlete. I wish he would have. He has had or had an opportunity to play, but man, at the end of the day, I'm all about saving lives.
I
There's just too
heard
many
that.
people. There's just too many people that died to this virus. I mean, when we're going 400,000 and counting, uh, just to
Yeah,
watch football.
like 450,000 or
Yeah,
so
yeah,
just in the US, right? Which is a tragic number.
yeah.
I agree with you. Yeah.
So we want to risk 4,000, for over 4,052 to die just because we want to watch high school football, or we want to watch a high school volleyball game,
Yeah.
or we want them. I believe this has just been one of the situations they had to sacrifice their senior year in order for us to move on to better and greener pastures going on in the future.
Yeah. I agree. I'm making a little note here in the comment section that I need to take this photo of your frozen frame and
Oh
and
man,
and I'm gonna shoot that. I'm gonna shoot that image to
I
ESPN. And I'm gonna
I
say,
pro-
yeah, we trying to get some some marketing from you. And this is our show. My God, what is going?
I
I'm
promise you, man. I don't know what's going on with my computer. I think it may be Monday. I don't know what's going on, but whatever it is, I'll
oh,
make sure it's fixed.
you're
It's
gonna
gonna be
blame it on the
fixed.
Mondays,
It's
right?
gonna
You're
be on the
gonna
Monday, man. That web traffic is going too hot on Monday. That's all.
I heard that. I heard everybody screaming at YouTube.
Yeah.
I am looking forward, as you said, to the Olympics. The Olympics. I know they're talking about the Summer Olympics and getting all of those things squared away. That lure is one of the original events that kind of shot my site to a different stratosphere, right? Just being able to cover the Olympics, cover
Mhm.
some of the athletes. So shout out to my boy Rick Japlesky, who back in the day did a lot of interviews with me of some athletes,
Mhm.
and that took off. So I'm looking forward to that for sure. I agree with you on the All-Star game. I just don't know if that's really the right time right now. We didn't have a lot of other things to talk about. The big thing, obviously, was the Super Bowl, and I'm glad we touched on the different, again, the social aspects of that, because
Yeah.
that's what we're really good at. But I wanted to throw you off guard a little bit, and maybe as I continue to draw it out, your screen will come back. But I got you on audio.
Okay. Okay. I'm here, man. I'm here.
I, I wanted to ask you kind of some additional topics, and just they're around the area of sports, they're around the area of this thing. So where do you typically get your sports news from?
Oh, all kinds of sources. The phone, obviously, that phone feed is the big one right now, because that's we get the mass data and the mass information from there. But also ESPN. I mean, that's my source. That's
Okay.
kind of like that's been the Bible of sports right about now. Unless it's things that are lower level. Like me, I follow a lot of D3, D2 college athletes, so they don't normally get on that scale of the ESPN level. And then also, like I said, I look for other stories, that are kind of out of the ordinary. Like I told you, we talked about the Seattle dude. Remember I told you that, and you're like, yeah, I haven't seen nothing on ESPN.
Yeah.
I just kind of got it from another source. So I really, I try to just funnel it through my phone and a lot of alerts. But ESPN is still the Bible of getting your sports information.
It is, and I've wondered about that, right? Because it's been that way for a long time, where it's just ESPN. Fox has their little stuff,
Hmm.
CBS has their stuff. I'm not a fan, and I probably shouldn't say it. Bleacher Report has some things, but
Hmm.
they seem to be they're not as comprehensive in their coverage.
Hmm.
So me saying that, we'll probably never get a sponsorship from them. But look, again, I'm shooting it straight. But
Yeah.
yeah, it seems to be ESPN as opposed to the primary source for sports, and I guess that just makes sense.
I
Uh,
got one thing though before we move on.
yeah.
Were you able to catch that special on Good Morning America about the NFL, about the CTE protocol?
No, I heard about it, but I have not looked at. So hopefully, I can get that on DVR and watch it.
Yes.
I'm gonna write
Very
that down.
interesting. Yeah, very interesting. And you talking about getting your information from sports. Obviously, I got this story, and I listened to this via Good Morning America,
Yeah.
where they talked about they do there's two different formulas for calculating if someone gets paid out for CTE from the NFL. There's one for white players and there's one for black players.
Yes, I remember that. Yes, I remember hearing the highlights of that, and again, I couldn't find that.
Yeah.
So that was one of the things I wanted to ask you about. Man, come on, yeah, I'll let you go on before I
Yeah.
get on my soapbox, because
No,
let me set up. Let's
yeah.
get focused here, right?
That
Yeah,
that that right there. I mean, that was an interesting story. If anybody go out to Good Morning America, it's there on their website for sure. It's a big story, but basically, the story was a player for Pittsburgh Steelers. His doctor said he qualified for CTE. He got all the proper certifications or evaluations that he needed in order for them to take it to the NFL. Went to the NFL, He comes to find out as he does some investigations, there are two different ways of measuring if you're going to get paid out for protocol for having that for having this having
Hmm.
CTE. Um, and there's one for white and one for black. And in there, they doctors have mentioned this is definitely racial discrimination on how they're doing this and how they're doing these payouts. Got to look at it from another bigger angle than that. You got to remember the NFL is 70% black,
Hmm.
so that means if their formula deems them differently, that means they're more apprehensive not to pay 70% of those players. They're not going to pay them because that formula is calculated completely different than they are for the 30% of white players that play in there. So it's wild, man. I didn't even know that was there. But again, I don't see how the NFL, again, we're talking about diversity. They don't got it in the front office, man. They're not doing it. I don't know what they're
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah, there's this, and so here's a story, and I'll make sure to put it in show notes. It's crazy that the cognitive levels that are
Hmm.
put into this criteria, right, for being paid out for concussions and ex athletes who file against that 2013
Hmm.
lawsuit, that there is a different criteria for black players versus white players, and when I heard it, I was like, this can't be right. Right.
Yes.
I was like, this, and it can't be this recent. I mean, this had to have been something that was back maybe in the days when Jim Brown was playing, or Gale Sayers or something. But no, this is
Now. This is
new.
now. Yeah.
This is new and has been still in place with players today who are retiring and are facing issues with concussions and trying to
Yeah.
get their money right. So that is
Well, to me, it's crazy because, like you said, we're in this today's era. We're not talking about, like you said, like back in the 1940s or 50s. This is now, and I can't
mhm.
even believe this is legal. Like, how can you derive something where you're going to pay them, what's supposed to be the same amount because you settled this lawsuit and you agree that you're going to pay, but now you're going to pay them differently. I don't even know how this even legal I don't even know how you make that legal in your documentation. That's bizarre to me. And they use a term I think called, I forgot the name. They used a certain term on describing them, and I can't think of it right now. But I'm sure I'm going to bring it up in another one of our shows.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't make any sense to me how the players union again can stand for this. How can the people that retired from the NFL, how can they can stand for this, and how can just people and executives in the NFL office can stand for this as well?
Yeah, and how did it pass through all of the
Yes.
rigors of, again, like you say, the union looking at it? Again,
Hmm.
before you sign any contracts, especially these fellas, before you sign any contracts, make sure you know everything that it says. And for these stipulations to be written in the bylaw of who's going to get paid should you have this type of a head injury, and who's not going to get paid, or how much you're going to get paid,
Hmm.
it really is mind boggling that something like this is still in existence and is part of the way that the NFL is operating today.
Yeah.
So you got a lot of things to worry about, Goodell, right? You got to worry. Forget about worrying about the play clock and everything else, how many downs
Yeah.
and where to play the next Pro Bowl, if you're going to have a Pro Bowl. You got to worry about the social aspects of what this league is portraying to society, because more folks focus on what the NFL is doing as opposed to any other sport, right?
Hmm.
Baseball has always been said to be America's pastime and all, but it's getting too slow for a lot of our younger
Hmm.
generation, right? They like that fast pace because they got a phone in front of them, so they're used to quick reactions and quick bits of information. So baseball is kind of slow. 9 innings at 3.5 hours. Sometimes I fall asleep at a baseball game.
Hmm.
NBA is on a different stratosphere, right? You got 7 feet tall gentlemen who are just, and they look like monsters out there. Them some big fellas out there,
Hmm.
and again, not everyone is going to grow that high. I thought I was tall. I'm 6 feet, and tall boy, who I do a show with as well. He's 7 feet, and I'm looking up at him. So I can run up. I got a good 40 time. So
Mm.
football is okay, but again,
Yeah.
I'm definitely not at this level. But
Yeah. Yeah.
this is again is what resonates with a lot more, I think, of just the regular consumer, right? That's why you hear the term Monday morning quarterback. You hear the
Mm,
term that folks think they can do it, who wish they could do it, have done it in the past, but to have this in the bylaws of where a different set of rules is in place for the majority of your league,
yes,
that's a problem,
that's a
right?
black eye.
That's a
It's another black eye or black stain on the
yeah,
NFL,
yeah.
and it's rightfully so. You're taking your time to discuss racial discrimination. Now you practicing a racial something that is racial discrimination. Period. How you gonna donate 25 million or 250 million to racial discrimination and racial inequality when you're practicing it within your own company?
That's it.
It's as much as I love football and I love the NFL, and Tall Boy even said, "Why do we support it?" Sometimes it makes me question, why do we support it? Why do we continue to support it? I know, I question myself sometimes doing it. Well, like, why am I supporting something that doesn't support me, myself, or my people? It doesn't do it. It doesn't. It's not a good reflection. Like I said, you contradicting yourself. You donated money to the same cause that you're supporting, that you're implementing.
That's why I'm waiting for the Olympics. I'm gonna get back into curling. I'm 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 gonna get me a broom and a slick floor, and I'm gonna get out there and do some
And a big
curling.
rock, huh? Just throw that
That's
rock
it,
on
brother. That's gonna be my new sport, 2021. I'm curling, and
there.
badminton. You
Yeah.
can't get mad at somebody playing badminton.
You cannot, man. All you can do is laugh and enjoy the festivities. Sure.
Brother, I tell you what you got next? I think we had a show, so obviously we normally film on Sunday at 6 p.m. But let me tell you something. I'm gonna go ahead and make it live right now. I'm not gonna be able to film next Sunday, Valentine's Day. I will get kicked out of this house if I try to film a show with you on Valentine's. Not like we can go anywhere, but
Yeah.
I gotta keep my priorities right. So
Yeah.
we're gonna
Yeah.
take next week off. I don't know what's going to happen in between time. Again, we got a little bit of basketball. We got hopefully some conversations around some of these items and issues affecting and facing football. But I sure would like to see, I don't know, some hockey. I sure would like. I don't know hockey, but I sure would like
Yeah.
to get it and understand and see what's going on. I sure would like to see maybe some boxing or something. We need sports. I know we need to do it safely and all, but I mean that it really is such a critical component of society. Uh, the competition, the one-on-one, or if it's individual or plural teams, whatever the case may be, just that whole aspect of competitiveness. And we're like that in our day-to-day jobs. We're like that in every relationship that we have. And when you can see the entertaining factor of sports, we got to continue to make that happen. But I think what I like about what you and I are doing, we're talking about not just, again, the sports scores and not just the end result, but the that ugly underside sometime.
Yeah.
Right.
Like you said, there is an ugly side there that needs to be discussed and be addressed. I mean, if we're gonna, like we were talking before, if we're gonna evolve, we got to kind of address the elephant in the room when something's wrong. Be able to talk about it, and hopefully there's some dialogue that helps it move the needle a little bit forward or corrects the issue.
Mhm.
Uh, um, I believe, like you said, sports is a part of it's a part of the United States. Period.
Yeah.
Everybody in the United States with sport, well, no matter what sport you like, it's a part of the competition. Following heroes, following your role models, it's all there within sports because you can find it in sports, and there's a sport for everybody out there, to look at and take a look at. I just hope we can figure out a way to get back to normalcy, where we can have those regular fans there, have those fanatics there, the fanatics there with
Yeah.
the stomach painted and war paint all over the face, and cheering for their favorite team. I'm really interested to see how the NCAA tournament's going to come out, because it's coming up sooner than everybody thinks. March Madness will be coming up
Yeah.
real soon. I want to see how that plays out, because by that time we'll be kind of somewhere really a little bit more advanced in the vaccine.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not quite sure college students get it, but I know we'll be far enough in the vaccine. I'm wondering how that's going to play, and maybe possibly fans being able to join it. And I think that's going to dictate how the NBA goes with the NBA finals and the playoffs. Kind of how whatever they're going to do in NCAA.
True.
I'm interested to kind of see that part. In between that time, it's going to be a lot of basketball, We got the NFL draft will be coming up in April, but there'll be a lot of talk about free agency coming in with that part. Baseball is going to be starting. They'll be starting pretty soon. At least getting their trades and getting ready to get in line to go to spring training and so on and so on. So I'm excited about all that. I just wish there was some more boxing. I really do wish
Yeah,
there was more
yeah.
boxing. But not MMA. I mean, I know there's MMA fans out there. I'm not I don't know MMA very well, so I can't tell if I'm a fan or not. The grappling doesn't like it, but I love when somebody gets knocked out. It
you
looks
you
good.
you want to see Floyd get out there and do his thing, right?
I want to see
You want to,
Floyd box. I mean, I want to see Jamal Crawford. The up and coming guy
yes,
coming.
yeah,
Sproles. I want to see all those guys. Those guys get busy more frequently, and the pay per view thing is not going to work because you can't get fans in there. So why
true.
don't we? Hopefully, they figure out a way to get it on the ESPNs or something like that for us to be able to get a chance to enjoy these guys' talent, and they can make a little bit of money at the craft. But I would like to see a little bit more boxing myself. That usually always kind of gave us our fix until we got in between these big sports. When we go to baseball or to football, you got a boxing match. Between basketball, there's always a good boxing match
That's
coming
true.
in. So I hope that kind of picks up the pace.
That's true. I love it, brother. Hey, I appreciate you, man. We're gonna go ahead and shut it down here for the week. We had a full week. We appreciate everyone who came and joined and engaged with us. Team No Sleep, as you know, we talk about the social impact of sport. Give us some ideas, give us some suggestions, and you see, I put the link up there on the screen if you want to join us. Because anytime Montel's screen is jacking up, and having problems with his AOL dial-up,
Oh man,
I don't mind having somebody else to
and,
talk to on
and,
screen.
and it's crazy. I'm on my work PC too, so that's even funnier that
That's the problem right there.
this happening right there. So
That's
I'll promise next time, man, I'm gonna have my stuff straight. We're gonna be all right. We're gonna be
See,
good to go.
yeah, if anyone wanted to come and join like the pre-show and see the 30 minutes that we go through behind the scenes of, hey man, I see you, but I can't hear you.
Yeah.
Is would you log into another browser? No, it's not it. Man, come on, bruh.
Man, we got this, man. Everybody out there is my fault. I'm gonna blame it. I'm gonna put the blame on me. So it's all good. But we good, man. We good. We got whatever the next show we're gonna be about. It'll be about whatever's coming up this weekend, man. I really want to hopefully deep dive into some more social issues
Yeah,
and some things that are going on with the ins and outs of sports that we need that I think people should focus on. And like I said, we will get some college football that's coming up too as well. These guys are playing these shortened seasons at the FCS level.
yeah.
The Division One double A's and below, they're all scheduling some small seasons, so we'll have some of that. So we'll have some good dialogue coming up.
Oh yeah, I think by having a week off, we'll have a good collection of stuff to talk about. Talboy, we saw you talking about the All-Star game by in the next week and a half. We'll have some good commentary on that as well. That being said, y'all be good to yourself, Montel. Stay out of trouble. Get you some righteous internet.
Man.
And outside of that, we appreciate y'all. We out.